Hello, listeners, and welcome back to this episode. Today, I am thrilled to welcome Ingrid Oumlouarde. She is a founder and CEO of Sekai Business Solutions. It's a company dedicated to driving business growth, sales strategy, and team performance. And her career journey from corporate employee to entrepreneur has been shaped by bold decisions that she's made, valuable lessons that she has learned, and a strong commitment to leadership and professional development. She has a background in market research. In full transparency here, we worked together years ago and have kept in touch and followed each other's journeys. She worked in market research and commercial strategy and has worked with leading firms and now has taken the leap into entrepreneurship. And today, Ingrid is going to share her personal story. That's absolutely why I wanted to have her on, because I think that hearing other people's stories and what they went through, what worked for them, where their struggles were, how they overcame that, I find it extremely inspiring. And I'm 100% sure that there are going to be a million nuggets that you can take away today. So she'll also share some practical insights for those looking to evolve in their careers and step into entrepreneurship. So Ingrid, welcome. Tell us your story. Why and how did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Thank you, Karen. I'm glad to be here today to tell you more about my experience and how indeed I became an entrepreneur. It's quite new for me because I've been in corporate companies for years. And actually, this is something I had in mind for a few years before I took the decision. I was employee and I had different positions from project manager to sales manager, and then I was leading a consulting team in Europe, so it was different positions that I all enjoyed. But I was thinking about it just because I had some experience and I thought maybe I could share that experience with people. And I thought about it, how I could do that. In the organization I was working with, there was no opportunity to do that because it's quite with process, and so you have trainings and it's led by HR. And when you're a leader, a manager in a company, you have ideas, but sometimes you have also to follow some process. So it's not always easy to do what you want and to share your knowledge and how you want to do things. But okay, what's the way to do it and how I could help other leaders to do it and to help teams growing outside of just one organization, doing it for more people than just one organization. And this is how my first idea of becoming an entrepreneur came and how I made the decision. So this was the first step, I would say.
Okay. So how long did the idea mature in your head? Was it immediate? Did something happen? Or was that a process over several years or months?
I have to say it's years. Sorry. It can be shocking for some people, but it was years because I had this in mind. But when you work for a company, you have a routine and you like what you're doing. So I really liked my job. So this is also why it took some time, because I like the people I was working with. And so I had this in mind and I wasn't sure how to do it. So, you have trainings, project management for how to become a manager, even if maybe we'll talk about this later. It's not always easy to follow this, but you don't have a training to become an entrepreneur when you're working in a company. So that's something you have to think about and you have to decide on your own and make your own decision. And it's also about getting out of your comfort zone. Because, you earn money and it's working well and, I had a very good situation. And then you have to take some risk to become an entrepreneur because you start from scratch. So this is a decision you have to make also, and it has impact also for your family. So this is a decision you make not only for yourself and for your career, but also for your family. So you have to think about it. And this is why it took me some years to think about it, to decide how I will do it. And then finally I make the decision when I thought, okay, what's next for me? Do I want to have more responsibilities? Again, continue my career like this. I had also the opportunities to grow. But then I thought, okay, maybe it's time for me to just do what I want and start this. So this is just how I made the decision.
Okay, great. And tell us, why did you want to participate in the summit? What motivated you to be part of this Women Leading Boldly initiative?
Yeah, for me it's very important because I had this experience before when I was an employee at Dynata. I had the opportunity to be part of the Women in Research program. This is a great program where leaders can talk together, their experience, and actually this helped me a lot to make my decision because I discussed with different women and see their path, how they took their decision, how they were leading. And actually, this is also something that helped me realizing that I can make my own choice and helped me also gaining confidence on my capabilities to do it. So this is also why I thought it would be good to participate in this summit because bringing experience and showing other women that, you can do it and you can decide what you want to do, and it's not like someone will tell you, one day, okay, let's go, let's do it. So hearing about stories, I think that helps to say, okay, maybe I can do it also, I can do it.
And so what exactly was Women in Research? What was the format and how did that specifically affect you and your evolution and your personal development?
Yeah, so this program you have modules about leadership. It's led by women that have a lot of experience in leading teams. They are entrepreneurs also. So they have sessions where you listen, you do it on your own. I took a lot of notes on how they are doing, how they are dealing with some situations, and I thought it was very interesting because they share experience. It's not only about theory, it's about sharing experience and how they deal with some situation. And then after that, you have calls with leaders, so in different companies in research. And during these calls, everyone can share a problem they face or an experience they want to share. And this helped me because I found many other women with the same struggles that I could have as a leader, because I mentioned it before, but you can have trainings on how to become a manager. It gives you basics, but then you have very different situations that you face, and there is nothing written in a book. You have to deal with that. And sharing with others, I think it's very important, and it helps a lot in your career on how you can also deal with that.
What was so powerful for you in hearing other people's stories? Can you give us one example of something that helped you personally in either the leadership in the company where you were or in what you do today?
Yes, I can give examples. So there was a situation where we had a call with different women, and there was 2 CEOs of companies, and they shared some experience about what they struggled with their team and the management. They were CEO, but there were founders that were making some decisions, especially financial decisions, and they were not quite okay with the decision that the company was taking in terms of financial decisions, and they had to kind of put some pressure on their employees. And this is what they shared. And it was very simple. They shared their feelings and how they felt about that and how they struggle, and then they ask the women who were there what they think about it. This for me was very important and it impacted me a lot because I thought, wow, so they are CEOs and I was a sales leader, and I thought they asked me my opinion. So we are kind of all the same finally. We are human that are trying to do our best for our jobs, and it's good to share experience and how we would do it if it was us. So we talked a lot about the situation, how we could deal with it, but it impacted me because of the situation and the fact that we sometimes we think CEOs, they know everything and they are just the one who decides. So we don't think that they can struggle with decisions and with things that they live in their daily life. And I think that was very important for me to understand, we are finally all the same and we have to take decisions, and it impacts, of course, the teams we work with, but also us, ourselves. So that was very important for me.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. And tell us, what is one of the biggest internal challenges that you personally had to overcome when you were stepping into a leadership role, whether that be at work or in your company today? Tell us a little bit about an internal challenge that you overcame.
Yes, I think my biggest challenge was about removing limitations that I could have, because you always doubt about what you can do, and if you're the right person, like if like you've been promoted, so it's great, you feel excited and you can do it, but still there is always a voice telling, but are you sure you can manage this and this and this, and will you be brilliant, or how will it work, and so on. And I think for me the biggest challenge was to remove these limitations and just be myself as a manager, as a leader, and accept that I have my own style, and I can do great things, and I have to accept this. It's not about having the skills, it's more about the feelings, and making sure I can deal with that.
Oh, I love that, because first of all, I hope that everybody listening or watching hears that we all have doubts.
Exactly.
It is normal. It is completely normal. Every single person doubts, and sometimes they might not want to admit it, but I haven't met one person, I think, who doesn't doubt. And I love what you said about, first of all, recognizing it, voicing it, so admitting it, but then also accepting it. And just coming back to what you said earlier, accepting that we're all human and we also have our own styles. And the other thing I love about what you said is, and tell me if I've interpreted this correctly, but it's also finding your own style. It's not fitting into a rule or the way that somebody else says you should be doing things. You should be leading your team like this, or you should be managing your company like that. Have I understood?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. I think it's very important because especially, when you take a position, so there might be someone before and you don't have to copy what the person was doing because it might not fit with what you feel and how you would like to do things. And it's fine. This is exactly what I mean.
And so you've identified a limiting belief and it's there. Is there a specific mindset shift that helped you? Or did you have to consciously work on a belief in your capability, in your leadership? Was there something specific that you did to shift your mindset?
So actually, what I did is I asked a lot of feedback to my team. So because I wanted to make sure that my own style and the way I was doing things was okay with my team. So, and I like a lot the collaborative things. So, I don't like being a manager saying, okay, you have to do that. So, of course, we have objectives and we have to achieve these goals. But for me, it's important that it's collaborative. So I was discussing a lot, and it helped me because the feedback I received gave me confidence that it was working and it was doing well. So I think this is also important sometimes to ask some feedback just to make sure you're on the right way and that your own style is also fitting with the people you work with, because we can adapt. I mean, of course you have your own style and you are doing things, but sometimes you have to adapt also to people to make sure it works. And I think this is also something important to do.
And tell me, and this is maybe a kind of a personal question, but what is some feedback that you received at some point in time in your career that was maybe hard to hear, but now that you look back, it was actually great feedback and it helped you evolve? Because I think feedback, a lot of people, it's hard to receive it. I think we have to be very open to it. But is there something or an example that really helped you also evolve as a leader?
Yeah, I think actually the feedback I received from the people in my team were quite positive. So I think this gave me confidence. But I think maybe the most difficult for me and the hardest was more the feedback I received from my managers at some point. Because I was quite sure about what I was doing and the way I was doing. But of course, it takes time to have results. So, when you are in a sales team and you have targets, so it's usually monthly and quarterly targets, and the time it takes to see results from what you are doing with the team, it's not like you will do it you will see it next month. So it was maybe some feedback I received from a manager that was telling me you have to be more stricter on what you are doing with your team, and I was not quite sure it was the right way to do it, so it was difficult for me to accept it. And then I had to think about also a new way to communicate, because it's so I was doing things with my team and I was quite convinced it would work and we would see results in few months, but also it might be also me adapting my communication to my manager, saying, so here's what we are doing, so we are doing the job. Maybe not in the way you would do it, but still we are doing the job. But adapting the communication. So this is something I worked also on my own. Having this feedback, I thought, okay, so maybe there is something wrong, like in the way we communicate and in the way we understand each other. So that's something helped me adapting my communication.
Yeah, and what I love about what you just said is that, correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't take it personally.
Yeah.
It was about listening to what somebody said, but then also trusting yourself and trusting and knowing, trusting in your beliefs, believing in what you're doing before deciding how to take that on. Exactly. So I think that that's a beautiful example. Thank you. So tell me what or who has influenced your leadership style the most? And what did you learn out of that what or that who?
I have a name. I have to say it.
Go ahead.
So Andrea Cotabichu, she was my manager. She's working now at Ipsos, but she was my manager when I worked at Dyneta. And she was a great example of how I see a leader. So really...
Why? Concretely,
she inspired me a lot because she was really on a collaborative leadership. So really, she gave me confidence on, you can do it. I give you that, and then you just do how you want to do it. As I mentioned several times, but your own style. You do it how you want. I trust you. This is very important because sometimes, you have managers or leaders that give you targets and things to do, but you don't feel the trust between each other. So this is very important, I think, for a leader to trust your team and that they trust yourself too. And this is something I really liked working with her. She could trust me and I could trust her. This is really a win-win, and I really loved that during our collaboration. And also she's the one who how to say, so she's the one who introduced me to the Women in Research program. So that also helped me a lot on my career. So yeah, I think it influenced my decisions.
And could you maybe give us an example of, because I think trust it's extremely important. Just give us an example maybe of something that she asked you to do and said, Ingrid, go and do it on your own. I trust you. Something that maybe you felt was going to be a little bit difficult for you, but having that trust and knowing that she had your back, how did that help you succeed or put that into place? Do you have an example?
Yes, I have several, but I can mention one. We had an offer to make to one of our biggest clients, so top 3 clients, and it was the first time for me to really manage this with the team. So usually she was always involved and helping with how to do it and which way we would answer this offer. And this time she told me, okay, now I think you can do it on your own. So, if you need help, I'm here. You can ask, but I think you can do it on your own. And I thought, wow, so, this one, it was a very important one. So if she says it, okay, I'll try. And it's good to know that, if I have questions, she's here. But I had to start and doing it on my own. And finally, this is again something about confidence because she trusted me that I could do it. I thought, okay, let's do it. And I managed and we won it. So I think that's the result that we wanted to.
Okay.
That's an example.
No, I think it's wonderful also that you had women or even leaders. I don't want to say just women. It can also be men that encouraged you, that trusted you, that gave you that responsibility. I think sometimes, but this is it, people don't always have that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had some great bosses. I've had others that are not so great. And I think that generally speaking, this is my point of view, is it's still up to us, no matter the situation, to take something from it. I think we can always learn. So we mentioned in the introduction that you are, personal growth is extremely important for you. Can you give us an example of something also that you've done, a book you've read, a class you've taken, something that has really transformed you and that personal and professional growth?
Well, I think this is something that we mentioned, but being part of the Women in Research program helped me a lot. And I think it would have taken more time for me to grow if I wouldn't have that. Because when you do it by yourself, it takes time to realize it and to think, I can do it. And okay, will I start now? Can I, have this? There is an opportunity for a job. Can I apply for it? Am I strong enough to take this responsibility? And I think this program helped me to think, yes, I can do it, and I can do it now. It's not like I need 10 more years of expertise, of experience as a leader to do it. I can do it now. So I think it maybe saved me years of experience.
Years of waiting.
Exactly, waiting for an opportunity.
Okay.
So, I think that's... And this is why also I think it's always good to... Something we haven't mentioned yet, but also it's important to leverage your network and work with others on, what do you think? Today I have this position, I like my job, but I would like to get more opportunities. What can I do? What do you think? And talk to people, talk to others to get their opinion and see what they think about your situation. And it helps also, as we say, having feedback, not only on task and on what you are doing daily, but more on your career and how you feel about it and what you would like to do and how you could do it. And I think it's very important to talk to other people to leverage that.
I think it's a great point because not everybody in their company or in their job has some kind of women in research network or a mentorship program. So I think I love to call it self-leadership is taking charge of that personal growth, and whether it be having and taking advantage. I mean, I talk to a lot of women, there's a mentorship program and they're not taking advantage of it. So either take advantage of what is available or creating your own. And like you said, go out, meet people, networking. I think it's hugely important. So thank you for mentioning that. And so last question for you is, how do you balance, the ambition that you have? Now you're building a business. So between balancing that and personal well-being.
That's a very good question. Actually, I think I've thought about it a lot, especially when I was a manager in my previous position. I spent a lot of time working, and sometimes you have less time for your family and for your well-being. And there are programs And I think there are more and more programs in companies about well-being, and we talk a lot about it. But I think it depends on yourself and how you feel about it and what's your needs. Because, I've seen indeed some programs and some discussions around it. Maybe, it can help people maybe to realize it. But then how to apply it, I think it's personal. It's how you feel about it. And maybe there is not a right way of balancing everything. And maybe it depends also on what you want to do. But it's important. We all say it, but it is. And in my opinion, you have to really think about what you want and how you want to do it. So, for example, for myself, I need to have some time for myself. I take some time. Usually I go for some running in the morning, maybe once or twice a week. This is something I wasn't doing before, but it helps me a lot to, think better and be feeling good about what I'm doing. So, and this is what I like, but some people, they don't like running, so you don't have to do it for being well. I think it's personal, but it's important to think about it and to think about how you would like to balance it. Because some people, they say, oh, I like working in the evening. Okay, it's fine if you like working in the evening. I mean, it's fine. But then are you working the whole day and the evening? Or do you have time for yourself? So it's fine if you say in the afternoon I go for a walk or I go shopping because I like shopping. But then I work in the evening. I think it's fine because you find the balance. Or I go and pick up the kids at school at 4 because I want to spend some time with them. And then at 6, I work again. For me, I think that's a good balance because this is what you need and how you feel good about your family, your work, and how you want to do it. Of course, I think we still have some limitations because in some companies it's not things you can do, like going out at 4 to pick up the kids. Sometimes it can be difficult. But this is something I think we could discuss in companies and with managers. If this is something very important for you, maybe we can find a way to adapt and to see how we can do it. And so this is why I say it's very personal, because it depends. Like some people, for them it's fine. They need something else. So we really need to think personally what's important for me as a balance and how I can apply it then.
What I'm hearing is that it comes down also to self-leadership and taking ownership. Exactly. I fully agree that I think that companies can do things, but it's just often about creating awareness. In the end, it's up to you to make it happen.
Exactly.
And I think that, was it difficult for you? Did you know exactly what you needed to do to find own organization is really what it comes down to. Was it difficult or was it very simple for you to say, no, this is how I'm organizing my day?
I think it was difficult at the beginning because there was things I wanted to do, but then I wasn't sure how to do it and when to do it and what the best way to do it, and not feeling, always, because we know we always run for things and we work, then we have to deal with the family and have time for yourself. I knew what I wanted to do, but not how to do it. So this took me some time to decide, okay, so what's the most important for me, how I want to do it, and how I apply it in my daily life, because it's something that you can say, okay, I would like to do it like this. I would like to go for a walk maybe once a day. But then the day passes and I didn't go, and how I can do it tomorrow. And this is something, maybe you have to set a routine and say, okay, I will give you an example. For me, I have to put it in my agenda. So it might be something that's not meaningful for everyone, but for me, if it's in my agenda, then I will do it. So, for example, the days I want to have a run, it's in my agenda. So it's a meeting with myself, and I'll do it because it's in my agenda. And I feel good about this because it's planned, and I like when things are planned. So I prefer to do it this way. But it took me some time to organize because otherwise I was just postponing it. I'll do it tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And then, 1 week passed and I wanted to do it, but I haven't. So this is something that it took me some time to find the right balance, but now I think it's going well with that organization.
Yeah, I think putting it in your agenda, definitely. And I also just want to put this out there for our listeners is that it's not, so even if you're in a corporate position, if your personal well-being is important to you, I think you'll find a solution. Yeah. Whether that means taking an hour during your lunch break to go do some sports, or taking a 15-minute walk, or organize a meeting that's walking or in a park near your office, but doing something and being very deliberate about it, because nobody's going to tell you how to organize your time. That is self-leadership. It is self-responsibility. It's ownership for your well-being. So that's exactly how I do it too. I usually don't work before 10 or 10:30 because I exercise every single day, but I work in the evening. So everybody has their own thing, and it was like that in corporate too. So, okay, great. This has been a fabulous discussion. Ingrid, is there anything else that is something burning on your heart that you would like to say? And tell us, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Yes, so maybe first I would like to say to people who are listening to us, trust yourself. This is very important. And share with others. Don't hesitate to talk to other people and communicate. I think that's a great way to grow as a leader. And then how to be in contact. So you can find me on LinkedIn, my profile, so Ingrid Oumlouarde.
Great. I will link also those things in the show notes. Ingrid, thank you so much. Personal stories I find extremely inspiring and powerful, and we're just women doing human things. Thank you for sharing, for being vulnerable, and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.